Imagine being able to take a spacewalk, or an undersea dive, or a vacation to the other side of the world, all from the comfort of your very own home. All of this and much, much more is made possible with the power of virtual reality. That's right, the thing sought after for decades is now nearing the realm of possibility for everyone.
Virtual reality is the ability to immerse a viewer into as close to a real world as possible by using both primarily the visual and to some extent the audio senses, and allowing them to emulate a first-person experience in a particular situation.
With the improvement of screen resolutions, low-cost graphical processing, and consumer-targeted devices, virtual reality is finding itself in more and more homes.
The populace is by using that equipment. Is it something that is intuitive to them? Is it something that is natural for them?
The concept of virtual reality has been around for a very long time, even from before the development of digital technology.
Virtual reality is essentially kind of an extension of the three-dimensional projections that we had in the theaters many times over. Everything from the anaglyphic, which was in the 1950s, I believe, late 50s, early 60s. Then another version of that in the 80s, and then in 2000s when they had the more advanced version of real 3D, I think.
In 1957, Morton Heilig invented the first type of multimedia device in the form of an interactive theater experience known as a sensorama. Using a viewing screen, oscillating fans, speakers, and devices that emit smells, the sensorama would have the viewer sit on a rotating chair in an enclosed booth, and it would show a series of stereoscopic images which gave the illusion of depth and the ability to view something at different angles. During the 1990s, Jaron Lanier and Tom Zimmerman marketed a range of virtual reality gear. This helped raise public awareness of this new form of technology. During this time, virtual reality became a popular idea and generated a lot of hype. Because of this hype, people lost interest in it very fast when it did not deliver on its early promises. The technology of the time was just not ready yet for what people wanted.
We're always on a quest, it seems, visually to provide viewers with a more immersive experience.
Today, however, the emergence of the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive to the public in 2016 brought virtual reality back into the limelight.
It's kind of like all technologies go through their innovation stage, their new stage, and I think that's where virtual reality is, but it's evolving then into the more of the adoption phase.
There are many different experiences made especially for these two systems.
It's teaching, learning, storytelling, sharing ideas or concepts, but it's related to just two of the five senses, so sight and sound. So it's a limited experience, but it is nonetheless an experience that people might not otherwise be introduced to.
Virtual reality tricks your brain into believing you are in a 3D world. The two displays are slightly different angles of the same scene, so that way it simulates depth to both of your eyes. This, mixed with parallax, which shows farther objects moving slower, and different shading techniques, creates a lifelike experience.
It puts a TV really close to your eyes, which is kind of funny to me because as a kid, your parents are like, don't sit too close to the TV. And then VR comes out and you literally have it glued to your face.
The VR experiences include videos and games. The real-life videos are shot with special 360-degree camera rigs. The camera can be held depending on the need of the shot. Different ways of holding the camera can be tripods, monopods, ceiling mounts, or even drones. When shooting in 360, it is important to remember that because it is in 360 degrees, everything can be seen. The viewer can focus their attention on whatever part of the video they want, so it is important to not forget about details.
Most importantly is, I think, the content that gets created. All of that stuff is done in a way that enhances realism.
Another example of an experience that can be done with virtual reality are video games. There are games that are made especially for virtual reality.
Entertainment. So you have gaming, which is has a popular segment of virtual reality.
When the player wears a VR headset and plays a game, it is no longer the player sitting in their chair and controlling the game with only their hands. Instead, they feel as if they are in the game, making it a more immersive experience.
The first is obviously for entertainment. People want something more, something new, something they've never experienced before, but a lot of times, like, you know, how do you give somebody the experience of flight without actually taking them up into a plane, dropping them out, hopefully they have a parachute, and giving them that experience. Virtual reality in the entertainment sense gives us that in a way that we didn't have before.
However, the experiences have to be truly immersive for them to be considered good. The concept has to be considered gripping, and the graphics have to be incredible.
Unity is going a long way to make that happen, and some of the other game engines as well.
The market for VR gaming is certainly bigger than it was several years ago, with the overall quality increasing as technology and public interest rising, and if it keeps going in the direction that it is going, VR will truly stand out in the world of gaming. Virtual reality can be great for educational use.
So I think a big part of how VR can be used is within the educational realm.
It allows the user to go on virtual field trips using different applications to reach faraway places and lets them see what they normally would not be able to see. People can explore anything from the depths of space to the bottom of the ocean.
Not only can you connect face-to-face with people all over the world, but you can also take them on experiences that are not necessarily easy to get to. For instance, if you wanted to explore what happened in Pompeii when the volcano exploded.
It can also be used for things like language immersion.
It's the opportunity for students to be more immersed.
Being in situations where everything around someone is in a different language, the brain is tricked to think it is real and will adapt to it easier. It is extremely effective for visual and hands-on learners. It would be a perfect mixture of the two.
In terms of training or simulation, there's a lot of work being done around, you know, training doctors, how to operate, or, you know, you see that one quite a lot. But also just in repairing and maintaining equipment, like here's this elevator, where is this particular piece located that you're going to need to replace, and how do you do that properly and efficiently and safely?
My name is Ida. Happy to meet you here. Today you will learn how to commission car parts that will be delivered to the assembly line.
Some arguments against virtual reality is that the technology is not in the right place for it to be very productive.
But I don't think there's enough people who A, have access to it, or B, have access to it in a developer's way.
I feel like virtual reality needs to take a next level step in the technology so that it's not so cumbersome, awkward, or unnatural to get in the gear to be able to experience that virtual world.
For people that do not have these types of computers or the money needed to buy either the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift, there are other options.
I think Oculus Go is a wonderful way of getting VR into everybody's hands just based on the price point, the controller, the hardware, and the software on the back end to connect all of those users.
There's countless different devices, but really, as Google Cardboard has demonstrated, as long as you have a screen that can project an image with that virtual reality distinction, and you have a pair of cheapo goggles that will restrict your vision to exactly just what you're seeing, then that's really all that's needed in there. I mean,
These devices work by sticking your phone into the device's slot and then playing a video or a game that is made with the purpose of being watched in VR, just formatted to work on your phone. These do not look as impressive as the PC-based virtual reality machines, such as the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, because they do not have the same depth or graphics quality, but they are the most affordable and the most accessible. All you need for them is a smartphone. In conclusion, we are only witnessing the beginning of the new virtual reality renaissance. While virtual reality is a growing market, with new experiences and devices for it being continuously made, it is unclear whether or not it will stay that way. And while it may seem fun now, it may only last for so long if it does not catch on. If it does catch on, however, you can expect it to be almost everywhere, from entertainment arcades, to schools, to workplaces, to training zones. It has a lot of potential, it just does not seem to have the technology or the interest in it right now up to be the big thing that it can be. Whether or not it will be in the future is up for the want and demand of it.